to myself. This is my locks. 2 years and 10 months. So yep. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea and I still make content on hair and other random stuff. If this is your first time, please don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up for this particular video. Now on today's video, I'll be talking about why I took down my locks and how. I know that previously I posted something on my page about taking down my locks. Trust me, it was an impulsive act. The way it happened so fast. I started taking down my locks first week of January and I finished the first week of February. It happened so fast, and I'm going to tell you why I took down my locks in the first place. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere. Okay, first of all, having locks was actually for 2 years and 10 months, and it was really a journey that I don't regret, right? And I want to go back to my locks. The reason why I actually took down my locks in the first place was because I wanted to wear wigs and they were becoming so difficult, like so freaking difficult. Now, so I'll be like, but you wear wigs? Yeah, I do. But you know, one thing about my locks was that I had full locks, like they were thick and they were like 55 in number, but then they were very thick. So having them and wearing wigs over them was actually making the wig a little bit bumpy at some sides, and I really didn't like that. Another thing was I wanted to braid on my locks often, but because of the size, after braiding it becomes so heavy that I can't handle. I'll be carrying my head like this, so I was just thinking I wanted to do so many stuff that I couldn't do because I believe locks are versatile, you get, but then my own wasn't really versatile like that because it was thick and it was preventing me from doing some other things. So I was like, I want to slay this year. I want to wear fine wigs and I want to do braids. So I have to take down my locks and I have to start afresh. When I started my locks earlier, some people were like, that's locks. It means that if you're tired, you cut it off. And I said no, because before I actually started my locks, I went to YouTube. I did a whole lot of research. I googled. I just did a whole lot, and I figured out that you can actually comb out your locks. You can take down your locks without actually cutting it to the roots, you get. So I felt it's something that is actually very possible, and whenever I get tired of my locks, I would take it down. I thought maybe after a year I would want to take down my locks, but after a year my locks was actually growing. Like, I was seeing a whole lot of progress. It was transitioning from one stage to the other and I was enjoying the process. So I didn't really want to comb it out after 1 year because I felt like the journey just begun. So 1 year, 2 years, and I should have been 3 years by next month, but I couldn't hold it any longer. I just needed to do something. I didn't like the way my hair was looking again. It was becoming too thick, and even after washing my hair, sometimes it takes a whole while to dry, and even after using the hand dryer, the blow dryer, it's not really enough to dry my hair, you can imagine. So I felt like it's not a bad idea to start afresh, but before I start afresh I would want to explore some other things I haven't done for a very long while, and one of them is making Ghana weaving because how can you make Ghana weaving on locks? I've seen a video, I've seen someone, Day Locks, on YouTube. She actually made Ghana braids on her locks, but it wasn't this tiny. I think they were like 5. I felt like something that is actually very achievable depending on who your hairstylist is and you know, how creative she can be when she wants to make her hair. So one of the things I actually did was to make Ghana weaving, which I haven't made for a long while. I think last time I made this hair was during my youth service. That was I think 2019. That was how many years ago? Like 4 years ago. So it's been long. So I decided to make Ghana weaving. When I combed out my locks, I had a whole lot of hair loss. I won't call it hair loss per se, but you know, we lose hair every month, every week, even when it's locked, when it's in loose form. When you're coming out your hair, there's what we call shed hair, right? Those hair that you shed every month when you're doing your styling, your hair and everything. So that shed hair was something that didn't leave my hair when I was on locks. It was rather falling into the locks and making it fatter and fatter. So when I was actually combing out my locks, those shed hairs were still there and they started coming out. And I feel like crying. Like the amount of hair, I'll show the amount of hair that I lost after this video, because I was actually trying to retain my length. So I was cutting my hair at the very tip before combing it out, and I feel like my hair is long. By the time I get to the roots, I see that I've actually lost a lot. So when I did it for the first 18 rows, or I think for the first 20 hairs in front and for the last rows at the back, the ones in the center, I just started cutting it. Like, if this is the hair, I'll just cut half of it, because I'm like, what's the point of combing out my hair from the tip, and what I have left with me is actually not so much compared to what it was before. You get. So at some point I started cutting half of it. I'm going to show the video later. Like, I'm going to add it here. So my friends said, don't go back to locking your hair. You look better with this. See you on braids. You look fine. Like, I can't forget when last you looked this fine. I'm like, oh, I'm going back to my locks. So because I feel locks is something that is very easy to maintain if you're dedicated and if you're committed. It's something that you can actually maintain. Like, you don't need to spend much, especially if you're someone that likes to do their hair by themselves. Like, it's going to be very easy for you. So locks is actually something I want to do again, even if not immediately, but I should do it. I want to. Like, I sat for 6 hours for this hair to be done. Guy. I was like, what? Is this what you people have been going through? Oh my goodness. I said no, I'm going back to my locks. So, well, pertaining to all that I've said, the main reason why I actually took down my locks was because of the size. I wanted to have smaller locks. I want to have smaller locks, rather. I had 55. Maybe if I'm going to lock my hair again, when I lock my hair again, I might focus on having like 70 upwards, because one of the reasons why I actually did 55 in the first place was because I was making my hair by myself. I knew I was going to be making my hair by myself, so I felt like I wouldn't have the time and the money to be going out to pay for. So, but the position I was there is not the same position I am now. So now I think I can actually afford going to a salon at least 2 times in 3 months to lock, to retwist, do my whole maintenance stuff. Even if I can't do 2 times in 3 months, I can do at least twice in 4 months, right? So I should target at least 70 upwards, 70 locks, so that I can be able to braid on my locks. I can mat my locks down so that I can wear a wig and it's not going to be all that bumpy. And I think having smaller locks too is actually, I think it's finer than having just a few. Like, when it's sizable, not fat, not too thin, and it's full everywhere. You can easily style it, you can easily pack it up. So one of the reasons I didn't really like the size of my lock was because I could hardly style it. I mean, it was long, but I couldn't really style it because they were fat. Like it was so hard to control. God, man. I really loved my hair, don't get me wrong, but I just felt like I could do better. It could actually appear better. So that's why I took it down. So I can start afresh, and I've learned my mistakes. I've learned a whole lot. I'm going to learn and unlearn. So whatever that I have learned and unlearned, I'm going to apply it to my new lock journey. But before then, I'm going to be making videos of how to take care of your natural hair. For now, I want to target on growing my edges because this is not just because of the hair that I made. My edges were actually going off before I even combed out my locks. So I really want to grow them back, and maybe I'll just make a video on how I'm going to do that, how I'm going to achieve my edges. So yeah, this is how I took down my locks. We are back where we started from. So this is me cutting the very first lock. Oh, it was actually painful. I was like, am I about to do this? Like, am I doing this? Oh well, let's see. I did it, and this was the very first lock that I took down, first week of January. I can't actually remember the date. I know if I look for it, I will find it, but right now I can't remember the dates. So I was just feeling, I was like, I'm actually going to go ahead with this, am I? But I definitely did though. So this was just the first one that I took out, and this was the second one. Oh, I was feeling myself like, my hair is going to be this long. I didn't know what was going to happen. But yeah, trust me, this hair is not the same length after everything. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it wasn't really the same length. I know that I trimmed my hair after I was done combing out my locks, but even without the trimming, it didn't just remain the same. Like, I think the hair was just falling out. It was weak. The hair was softer than it was before I locked my hair. So I think after locking your hair and you comb it out, it reduces strength. The strength gets a little bit weaker than normal. So I'm done with this front part, and I'm combing it out. I lost my edges, so let's not even talk about it. Let's not talk about it. But this was me just trying to put it together. I didn't want the loosened or the combed out part to be interfering with my other locks. I wanted to be sure that I was making progress, so I was trying to differentiate it from what I had left to do. Yeah, I really missed this. I missed braiding my hair myself. I missed touching my scalp. Now, basically, this is how I comb out my locks. I'm just going to show you using just one lock because it was the essence of making a whole video where I'm taking down 55 locks. Doesn't make sense. So yeah, I have to wet my hair first. Sometimes I use hot water or warm water or cold water. It depends, anyone that's available. But I think hot water does the trick. So after immersing it inside the water, I rub leave-in conditioner on it enough, and then I'm using this plastic needle. You can actually use a tail comb that has this iron tail to comb it out. Trust me, this thing takes minutes, it takes hours. I don't know how strong my hair is. Like, it's so matted, it takes me almost 2 hours to take down one lock. That is if I start taking it down from the tip. I just cut a little bit of it from the tip and I'm combing it out. It takes almost 2 hours. Really stressful thing. At some point I wanted to cut my hair, like, let me cut everything. What was all this? Let me start from the beginning and start growing my hair now. But then I just man, I persevered. I had friends that kept telling me, you can do this one at a time, don't rush it. My challenge was going to work with a hair that was untidy, so I was very weak sometimes. And at some point I had to start braiding the front part of it, try to look like I have locks behind and then I have twists in front. So as I go, I dip it inside water, I add more conditioner, and I keep taking it down till I feel like I'm making progress. I really messed up the chair this day, but I was really looking for lights. Yeah, so you see, this is the iron tail comb. It wasn't really working for me. It was slippery, so I went back to using the plastic needle, which for me, I felt it was more effective. So this was how I did it. And for the rest of my hair, I didn't do it exactly the same. I started cutting the hair half, cutting half length of my locks because I got so tired. Like, after losing all these things, I end up with just very little. The length of the hair is not as long as what the locks looked like before I started combing it out. So I just got stressed, and I found out that the dyed parts had less hair remaining after taking it down. So I started cutting it out entirely when I got to the back, and I combed some of my locks out without putting it inside water or using leave-in conditioner. I just combed it out to dry, and that was where I used that pink comb with the iron tail because it wasn't slippery because the hair wasn't wet. But whenever I get to wet my hair, this blue plastic needle is just the best option. So it seems like it's moving, but it's not moving. Had to make this video faster to save time, but me myself that I'm doing this thing, I know that it's not moving. Like it took me almost 2 hours to do this. Okay, so now this part of the hair where I am now is like the worst part of it. Like, the hair just matted there, and it's so hard to untangle it. Like, it's not just matted hair, it's tangled hair. In fact, it's like the root of your hair after braiding hair, and then you're left with the roots that's I really don't know how to explain it, but this was just the toughest place. And taking it out had a different method. Had to stop using the needle, had to start pulling the hair out little by little at some point, so that I won't really drag my roots, and at the same time I won't lose so much hair. Now look at what I'm taking out. Just look at this hair is gone. No, it is a bye-bye something, because you might think, oh, the hair is long, but see what I have left now. So yeah, this is the difficult part I was talking about. So I have to be pulling out the hair little by little, and to pull it out of that tangled part. There's this part in the middle where my I don't know what finger they call that, but that particular part is something I can't really explain why and how. So I have to start pulling out the hair little by little to detangle it. I'm not really relying on this needle again. I'm relying on both my fingers and the needle. So it's taking me a longer period than just had to go off camera. So this is what I brought out just from the middle of that hair, that tangled part. This is what I was able to pull out. You can imagine. So this is what I have left for my length. So that is how I took down most of all my locks, just putting it in water, using leave-in conditioner, and then taking my time to comb it out. If you don't have patience, you can't lock your hair. If you don't have patience, you can't even comb out your locks. So if you're not a patient type of person, just locking hair is not your calling. Just go back to your loose natural. Don't even bother. Don't stress yourself. This thing that I did requires a whole lot of patience and commitment, and for me to have actually lost hope at some point that I was tempted to cut my hair, I clapped for myself. So yeah, but at some point I couldn't handle it anymore, so I had to start cutting off most of the dyed parts to just make it. So this is what I did. This is what I got after cutting my hair, half of it. And when I was done, I did this avocado egg something and washed my hair and braided it all back. It felt so good to be. If you look at this bucket, you will see that my hair is like half of it, and this is it. Shed hair, and the locks that I cut, almost half of it, if not more than half of it. So yeah, So till next time, my name is still Andrea. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a nice day and bye.